The initial explosion was felt for a 2-mile radius and was heard as far away as Fairhope. Channel 10 cameraman Robert Sanders arrived minutes after it started, and here's what he saw. No one was injured, although the bridge tender miraculously clambered down from the raised span amidst the billowing black smoke.
Well, it blowed me back through the building, blowed the windows and doors out, and I got up, got out of there as quick as I could, climbed down the bridge.
Well, wasn't the fire going by then?
Yes, it was coming all the way up over the shack then.
Well, how'd you get out with the fire going?
I went out the back door and climbed down the bridge, walked down the catwalk until I got as far down as I could, and then climbed on down.
Well, what did you think when it actually hit the bridge?
I thought it knocked the bridge over.
The boat was pushing the barge out of the river there, come underneath the railroad, come through the bridge, and it came down, and it was going underneath the Cochrane Bridge. And he said he saw it was getting away from him, and he called him and told him he better slow down on it. And about that time, the barge hit the bridge.
The barge was one of 4 being pushed by the tug W.F. Fetterman, Jr., which belongs to the Port Arthur Towing Company of Port Arthur, Texas. The barges had just been loaded at the Louisiana Land and Exploration Refinery in Saraland and were beginning their journey. The 4 barges together were about 1,100 feet long, filled with 100,000 barrels of the highly flammable fuel. Kennedy says in his 3 years as a bridge tender, he's never seen a tug try to push that many barges at one time through both bridges. But the captain of the Fetterman, Bill Manning, claims it's done often. As soon as it happened, the tug pushed the end of the barges into the bank. Both the Mobile Fire Department and the U.S. Coast Guard rushed fireboats to the scene to contain the fire. The initial impact apparently jostled the highly volatile liquid, causing the explosion. The force of the explosion was so great that portions of the barge were blown for hundreds of feet. One piece landed here on top of Cochrane Bridge, others landed along the banks of the river. The front part of the barge contains an empty airspace, with the first fuel compartment about 30 feet back from the bow. Although a huge hole was ripped in the front, the naphtha leaked from what was said to be a small hole in one compartment only a few inches in diameter. One source said if the hole had been as big as the front of the barge, it would have spewed fire for miles downriver, creating a holocaust along the waterfront. Mobile's lone fireboat, along with several small Coast Guard boats, valiantly contained the leaking, flaming fuel until foam could be obtained. This was pumped onto the barge surface and into the hold of the barge.
It's still wasting their effort. I guarantee it won't.
With the help of a boat from Lee Statler's firm, Offshore Incorporated, we were able to get much of this film. Shortly after 1 p.m., the first sign of the end came when the foam and the pumped-up river water began taking hold. Most of the damage to the aging Cochrane Bridge is from smoke, although the initial ball of fire burned power lines in two and burnt much of the paint from the bottom of the bridge. The rest of the bridge is heavily scorched. It will be closed indefinitely, which will cause a burden on trucks carrying explosives or chemicals, since they aren't allowed to use either of the tunnels under Mobile River and had been using Cochrane Bridge. By 3 p.m., 10.5 hours after it started, the blaze was out, although some said it would take all day or maybe all week. But the volatile liquid still spilled into the river at the rate of 10 to 15 gallons a minute. The line of barges were then moved to the east side of the river to get it away from the Gulf Corporation oil storage tanks. Once the immediate danger was over, the investigation into what happened began, with an answer not expected for several days. John Keffer, Channel 10 Newsbeat.